Number 10, the Tolerance Paradox. To maintain a tolerant society, you must be intolerant of intolerance. It sounds contradictory, but it's a logical survival mechanism. If a society allows every opinion, including ones that promote hate, violence, or oppression, those intolerant ideas can grow, dominate, and eventually destroy the very freedoms that allowed them in the first place. That's why democracies sometimes restrict hate speech or ban extremist groups. It's not about shutting down free speech, it's about protecting it from being weaponized. And here's where your brain glitches. The idea of using limits to protect freedom feels wrong at first, but without those limits, freedom itself can't survive. Number 9, the Abilene Paradox. Groups collectively agree to actions nobody actually wants, just to avoid conflict. You've probably lived this. A group of friends decides to go to a restaurant. No one really wants to go there, but everyone agrees, thinking they're going along with what others want. In reality, no one's happy. This paradox shows how the fear of disagreement or tension can override honesty. People suppress their true opinions to keep the peace, which ironically leads to a worse outcome for everyone. The brain prioritizes group harmony over individual truth, even when the group ends up doing something none of them want. Number 8, the paradox of choice. More options equals less satisfaction. We think having more choices gives us freedom, but it often just makes us anxious and less happy. Take something simple. Scrolling Netflix for 30 minutes only to settle on a random show you barely enjoy. Why? Because when everything is available, nothing feels quite right. The brain gets overwhelmed by too many options. You start second-guessing your pick, imagining all the other better choices you didn't make. Instead of feeling empowered, you feel regret, even when you choose something great. Number 7, the Observer Effect. Just observing something can change it. This paradox isn't just about science, it plays out in your everyday behavior. At its core, the observer effect means that the very act of watching or measuring something alters its outcome. It began in quantum physics, where particles behave differently when measured. But in real life, it shows up in subtle, psychological ways. Imagine you're working at your desk. The moment your manager walks by, even if they say nothing, you suddenly sit up straighter, type faster, or focus harder. Not because you were told to, but because you're being watched. The awareness alone triggers a shift in behavior. This happens in relationships too. When people know they're being observed, on social media, in a meeting, or even in therapy, they act differently, often trying to match expectations rather than acting authentically. Your brain subconsciously adjusts, trading genuine behavior for performance. That's the paradox. Observing someone to see their true self can actually make them less authentic. Number 6, the Ship of Theseus. If you replace every part of a thing, is it still the same thing? Imagine a ship. Over time, every plank, rope, and nail gets replaced. Not a single original piece remains, yet we still call it the same ship. Now apply that to you. Your body gradually replaces almost all its cells every 7 to 10 years. So if everything in you has changed, are you still you? This paradox challenges how we think about identity. The brain craves a sense of continuity. It wants to believe you're the same person you were as a child, but biologically, psychologically, even mentally, you've been constantly changing. So what makes you you? Your memories, your name, your habits? The real twist? Even if every part changes, if the pattern stays, your personality, your values, your story, we still see it as the same thing. Identity isn't fixed. It's a mental construct your brain holds together, like a story you keep editing, but never really finishing. Number 5, the Hedonic Treadmill. You chase happiness, but your brain resets to baseline. You get the promotion, buy the new car, move into your dream apartment, and for a while, it feels amazing. But then, that rush fades. The car becomes just your car. The apartment starts to feel ordinary, and you're already thinking about the next thing. This is the Hedonic Treadmill. No matter how big the win, your brain eventually adapts and returns to its default happiness level. It's a survival mechanism. Your mind adjusts to new circumstances, so you can keep functioning instead of getting stuck in any one emotional state. The problem is, this adaptation works both ways. We get used to the good as quickly as we get used to the bad. That's why long-term happiness rarely comes from external achievements or possessions. The brain constantly resets the bar, making fulfillment feel just out of reach, like you're running on a treadmill that never stops. Number 4, the Backfire Effect. When faced with facts that disprove beliefs, people believe harder. You'd think that showing someone clear evidence would change their mind, but often, it does the opposite. Confront a conspiracy theorist with solid proof, and they might dig in even deeper, convinced it's part of a larger cover-up. That's the backfire effect. When someone's core belief is challenged, the brain treats it like a personal attack. This triggers cognitive dissonance, a mental discomfort that feels so threatening. The mind defends itself by rejecting the new information and reinforcing the old belief. The stronger the emotion tied to the belief, politics, religion, identity, the more resistant the brain becomes. It's not about logic anymore. It's about self-preservation. Ironically, trying to correct someone with facts can end up making their false beliefs even stronger. Number 3, the Bootstrap Paradox, an idea with no origin. This one messes with your sense of time and logic. Imagine you travel back in time and give Einstein the theory of relativity, which he then publishes and becomes famous for. But if he learned it from you, and you learned it from him, who actually invented it? That's the Bootstrap Paradox, a loop where information or objects exist without a clear point of creation. It creates a scenario where cause and effect break down, and the origin of something becomes impossible to trace. Your brain struggles here because it thinks in straight lines. A causes B, B causes C. But in a bootstrap loop, A causes B, and B causes A. There's no beginning, no end, just a closed circle of logic that feels impossible, but isn't. In time travel fiction, it's fascinating. In real life, it challenges our very idea of how knowledge, creativity, and causality work. Number 2, the Sorites Paradox. When does a heap stop being a heap if you remove grains one by one? If you take a single grain of sand away from a pile, it's still a pile. Take away another, still a pile. But repeat that enough times, and eventually, it's not a pile at all. The question is, when did it stop being one? This is the Sorites Paradox, a problem of vague boundaries. It applies to almost everything gradual: gaining weight, going bald, getting older. You don't suddenly become overweight or bald in a single moment. It happens bit by bit, but our brains want clear categories, not slow fades. We like yes or no answers, rich or poor, healthy or unhealthy, young or old. But reality doesn't work like that. Most change happens on a spectrum, and the paradox lies in the fact that we can't draw a precise line where something stops being what it was. That ambiguity, it drives your brain nuts. Number 1, the Mandela Effect, false memory paradox. Large groups misremember the same detail, confidently. People vividly remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, except he didn't. He passed away in 2013. Or how about the famous line, "Luke, I am your father"? It was never said in Star Wars. The actual line is, "No, I am your father." Yet millions recall it differently. This is the Mandela Effect, when groups of people share the same false memory. It's not just misremembering, it's collective confidence in something that never happened. The brain fills in gaps, rewrites details, and over time, these errors feel just as real as the truth. It happens because memory isn't a recording, it's a reconstruction. Every time you recall something, your brain rebuilds it with small edits, influenced by suggestion, pop culture, and other people's memories. Over time, those edits become the version you believe. The paradox? You trust your memory, but your memory is constantly lying to you. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you want more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel.